but a lot of times it's you need to change your career. A lot of times you need to go out on your own because you've been wanting to forever, and you're now at the point is now or never. And if you've been thinking about it, I got some fun things for you to consider. So when naming your business, there's an awful lot of things that you want to consider. And I have an article on exactly this, a very detailed article that I am now lost, is if you go to edwardscom.net/name-biz, okay, name biz, naming your business, you will find that entire article right there. And just to tell you what it's about where people get stuck. And first, there's things like the first thing you should consider is your business. Should it be descriptive of what you actually do? Or do you want to name it something clever? A lot of people go through the very trite process of trying to find some buzzwords that sound really cool, like Phoenix, which is so overused, it's completely trite, so please don't go there, but you have to go through that process. Okay, guys, I had a quick glitch, but I was talking about when naming your company, getting through the real trite kind of names, then wondering if you should use some keywords in your name that it's descriptive of what you do, which is a great idea as long as you don't overstuff that. And that's called an EMD, exact match domain, which was an excellent SEO, search engine optimization trick that Google caught on to because people were abusing it, and Google always catches on to everything that people abuse. Their intent is always for you to play the most honest game possible, white hat, not black hat tricks. Because if you come up with a new way of fooling Google, it's a short matter of time before they, and then, you get really high in rankings and you're making tons of money or whatever, they will turn around and come up with an algorithm that will just shoot you in the foot and end that entire venture that you were doing.
I got to tell you, I'm not really sure what you're talking about right now. Are you saying that if I come up with a business name, somehow Google's going to shoot me down?
Oh, man, I'm really glad that you said that, because sometimes I just try to go through this so quickly to not bore people that I think that I can lose people. So that's a really good question. Here's exactly what I'm talking about. So there was a trend for a while that if you had wanted to open up a cabinet making company, then you might want to call it cabinetmakingcleveland.com. And those are all your biggest keywords, or cabinetmakingcheapcleveland.com. And if it tips their algorithm, it's going to shoot you down and penalize you, and you'll never get hits off of that. So in other words, don't do it. But if maybe your daughter's name is Amber May, and you want to call it AmberMayCabinetry.com, you're good to go. All right, you got your main keyword in there, but it's not so stuffed. Does that make sense?
Stuffed.
Keyword stuffed. So you don't want to make a cheapcabinetscleveland.com.
Okay, because it's all C's, or?
No, because it's all simply keywords with no real business name.
Okay. I gotcha.
So all it's right. Keyword stuff.
I think I gotcha. And then you're not going to get any hits if you do that, but you do want to be unique and
a little uniqueness. Yes.
Of who you are. Okay. Gotcha.
Now, what I want to also say is if you go the other route and you decide the whole clever thing of I'm going to use a foreign word, a lot of people do that. You get a thesaurus translation, all this kind of. And I also always recommend a thesaurus. I hit a thesaurus for everything I do. When I'm just coming up with concepts for logos and stuff, and I say, what do you want this to represent? Oh, I want it to be quality, innovation, all the boring keywords. And sometimes they come up with a couple unique ones. I hit a thesaurus on those as well. And then these kind of things start making your wheels turn in your head.
Yeah.
It's a great way to start naming a company. When you come up with some words that are what you want your company to represent, I suggest going to thesaurus.com and putting those words in there so you can come up with more unique versions of those words that then may fit together. So now you got a list.
Oh, I see.
Several. Now you start putting them together, a couple short, unique words, and it's something cool. will start to spark. So another thing about naming your company is if it's completely nondescript, like mine, my company name for my one-on-one work is Edwards Communications. Now, I could be selling telephone systems for all you know, okay? But I actually specialize in mostly online, but offline as well, traditional marketing communications. So the point what I'm trying to make here is I need a slogan to go with that. My slogan has been for years, dynamic marketing solutions that target your audience for maximum impact. All right. So it's almost a little more wordy than I recommend, but it does exactly say what I do. And it even has a bit of my mission statement. I always aim for maximum impact. So you probably need a slogan. Just keep that in mind as you're thinking about naming your company. Okay. Now, do you have to have a .com? Can you have a .net, a .co, there's a million of them right now.
Doesn't that depend on what kind of business you are?
Oh, that's a good point. There's a misnomer there because a .org, what do you think of when you hear of a something .org?
Like a nonprofit. Yeah.
Exactly. It has nothing, you can name anything a .org, but somehow that caught on as a nonprofit thing. So I'd recommend not going with a .org unless you are, even though you can. It's just people will not remember it as such, or maybe misunderstand your brand.
Interesting.
Now I have edwardscom.net. If I were, because Edwardscom or edwards.com 15 years ago or whenever I did my, I bought my URL, it wasn't available. And at that time, I was sure .net was going to be the second. Like, I thought I was being very clever buying up the .net because I thought that was going to be synonymous with .com. That honestly never really happened. If I had it all to do over again, I wouldn't do the .net. I really wouldn't. I would find what got popular when it came out a few years ago. There's two of them, a .co, which I find honestly surprising because it's so easy to complicate that with .com, but .co and .io. If I had it all to do over again, I would do Barry Edwards.io, but I don't want to rebrand myself. So there's that question. Do I do my name versus a company name? There's the whole, the forever debate. Do I want to sound bigger than I am? Or, because it's just me for the most part. Well, I think the smartest thing you could do is honestly brand your own name if you're truly a solo consultant. Now, I use a lot of, I partner with a lot of outsource here and there. I partner with people in the area that complement my industry. So I do have a wee thing going on, and I don't feel bad about using edwardscom.net instead of Barry Edwards, but I'm just saying if I were to do it all over again, if it were 15 years ago, I would brand everything simply Barry Edwards. And if I had to, Barry Edwards, as most of my screen handles are, Barry Edwards 111. And just stick with that. So there's that, because everybody asks that. Now I'm going to wrap up with I have offered to you a really incredible tool if you're playing around with different business names. So if you go to my blog, my edwardscom.net/name-biz, and you can read this entire blog article that I put together for you. I also offer you a great tool that you can type in a prospective name and it'll show you right away if it's open for whatever domains it's open for, such as .com, .net, .co, .biz, whatever. It'll show you which are open and which are not. And it will also, this is the best part, it will also show you what social media handles are available. And there's a ton of social media out there right now, but you sure as heck want to know if that name is also available for Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and the big ones. If it is, then you might want to snag that thing up quick. One final note I want to say as I said that, and I use namecheap.com myself to purchase URL domain names. I think it's the best one out there. Been using it for years. It's as cheap as you get, but reliable with a great interface. And what I wanted to say about that, so if you go to Namecheap to find out if something is available on a .com or not, don't do that. Use my tool, because if you go there and then say, well, I'm going to consider that, and come back 2 days later to buy it, it'll be bought up by a bot. I've seen it. I've done this a lot of times. I am sure that there are automated bots that buy up domain names that people are just looking at, considering buying, and then hesitate on, because then you'll have to pay like $500 to $1,000 for it.
Oh man, that seems pretty unfair.
Oh
But
well,
that's capitalism.
it's kind of the internet too.